Hello and welcome to the Mad Dummy Skip video guide. Today we will be discussing how the trick works, 4 popular setups of the trick, and some minor optimizations that you can do to save you more time. Mad Dummy Skip uses Persistence Glitch, a glitch that involves abusing the mechanics of room transitions, persistence, and battles to force the game into an unnatural state. Essentially, whenever you enter a battle in Undertale, the room that you were in is set to be persistent, so that when the battle is over, the room's objects are in the same state as they were before. Usually, when you re-enter a room after the battle is done, the room is set to no longer be persistent, but if you leave the room on the last possible frame, the persistence is not cleared, which is what we call Persistence Glitch. Mad Dummy Skip abuses this skip glitch in a specific way. When you re-enter the room with Persistence Glitch, the game assumes that you have beaten Mad Dummy, while in actuality you might not have. So for the trick, you will need to get Persistence Glitch, die to Dummy, and respawn in the Mad Dummy room with post-tech fight and absolute text. Before attempting Mad Dummy Skip, there are a few things you will need to know about this game version. Mad Dummy Skip requires an overflow, so it is not possible on versions where overflows are impossible, including any versions with Japanese text, or any console versions with the exception of a PS4 due to a console-specific oversight. There will be more information on how to do PS4 overflows in the description below. Furthermore, the version is further restricted by some oversights in the runner in certain versions of the game. The Game Maker Studio, which is the code base that Undertale is written in, was updated at some point during Undertale's development, and so older versions of the game will not have Mad Dummy Skip be possible. Therefore, you need to be playing on either 1.001 Linux or 1.001 Mac, or the aforementioned PS4 versions, with the proper runners to be able to do this glitch. If you are playing on a Windows machine, instructions to patch a Windows 1.001 game data runner to act the same as a 1.001 Linux version will be linked in the description. The start of Mad Dummy Skip is the same regardless of which setup you will be doing. Overflow the save here, advance to the 5th text box, which was determination, and use it to wrong warp out of the room and save in this room. Do an overflow on one of the items in this room. You can do this overflow while facing up, if you are using any of the trash cans. Hit the trigger here and walk down until the screen stops scrolling and line up with the dummy. This saves a little bit of time in scrolling speed. As soon as the dummy splashes like you see there, walk down and start mashing it to the human I'll scare you out of your soul part. Now you can see Frisk's legs just barely between the text box and the floor. You will be using that to line up your skip. I recommend doing it from this position right here, though many runners will have different positions for this because of individual differences in their setup. The first setup for Mad Dummy Skip is an audio cue. After lining yourself up in the pixel, open the punch card, hold down and left, and close the punch card on the 3rd click of the soul flash and cutscene. So it looks something like this. We will show more in detail how to complete the fight optimally after we show all 4 setups. The audio cue can be seen in more detail right here. The second setup we will be showing is very similar to the first setup, but instead of using an audio cue, you will use a visual cue. Like in the audio setup, you will open the punch card, hold down and left, but this time you will close the punch card when you see the 3rd soul flash. It will look something like this. Third setup for Mad Dummy Skip is using a timer metronome. The timer that is recommended is Flowtimer. It's used commonly in Pokemon runs. These are the offsets that I use. Feel free to use them as well, but it's going to be different for everyone. I have it set to activate when I press C and Z. So I CZ into punch card, down left, after the punch card is open, and close on the 5th beat. Last setup we will be showing is alt space buffering. Many runners find this to be extremely inconsistent, though others find it to be very consistent. It is not very highly recommended, though if you do find success with it, it is free to use. Essentially, by holding Alt and then pressing space, this little overlay thing comes over the game. This also has the effect of pausing the game. It will unpause when you press Alt, but then pause back again when you press space. So what you will do for this setup, like in any of the other setups, open the punch card and hold down left, but pause the game with an Alt space buffer when the cutscene still starts flashing, and you will count to the third soul flash. So since Frisk is on the screen, there is already 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Now you will unpause the game with Alt, and then immediately after, press Z to close the punch card and start walking. As I said before, many runners do find this to be wildly inconsistent, so it is something that is done at your own risk. Now let's go over the fastest way to complete the battle. You have 20 health in a neutral run, and need to get this down to 0 as quick as possible. In the first phase, you should be having attacks that will hit you for 1 damage, and the second phase, ones that will hit you for 5 damage. This being said, in order to take 3 damage, or 3 hits only, in the second phase, you will need to take 5 damage in the first phase. It's not so simple though, because the extra aspect of this fight is that the Mad Dummy will start talking after his first phase, after a set amount of time, after he gets hit by a cotton ball, though this timer resets if he is hit again. So you'll want to hit him, then get out of the way. The most consistent way, and the way many people do this RTA, will be shown here. You take 4 damage in this first part, or 3, doesn't matter. Hit the first one, get out of the way, and then hit the second one. So you can do that to advance past the first phase, and you will be at 15 health for the second phase. So simply take 3 more hits of damage. You will die, and if you got the skip, you will be in the skip, which we will show just after this. There is a faster way to do it, but it is RNG reliant. You can hit it with one of the first 3 volleys, and then get out of the way. This is heavily based on RNG, and it is not something that many runners attempt. Here is a video of what it may look like. After getting Mad Dummy skip, you will see an absolute text on the screen like this, and you will not have movement. If you do not see this text on the screen, it means you did not get the movement. There are 2 ways to miss Mad Dummy skip, either 1 by going early, or 2 by going late. If you go early, that means that you will go into the room on the left, and you will never enter the battle. This is about 20 to 25 seconds. If you are late, you will do the whole fight, but not have Napsluke's text on here, and instead respawn in the default position of this room. If you find that you are consistently early, you may want to consider moving your pixel 1 to the right. And if you find yourself being consistently late, you may want to move your pixel 1 to the left. It all depends on your computer setup, your wire setup, your headphones, your monitor's delay. There are many factors that could make this trick be in slightly different positions for different people. So experimentation is key. You will want to mash through this text if you got it, and then continue on. It is highly recommended that you overflow a text box here and use it to overflow wrong warp out of this room. You can choose to overflow the astronaut food box and get a free heal, and skip a save later if you would also like. Once you wrong warp out of this room, do not enter it again. That is very important. If you try to enter the room again, your game You'll be stuck in a room transition that is deactivated, and it will soft lock the game, and you'll have to reload and do the skip again. So overflow out of the room, and continue on with your run. Some final notes and optimizations to consider. As seen previously, you can walk down and scroll the screen to save a little bit of time on that screen panning. It is very critical to note that skipping Mad Dummy in this way does not obtain its yellow credit. If you are looking for the skip for use in a variety of categories, it could not be used in any category where you need the yellow credit, so you cannot use it in all yellow credits. It also does require a save, so there are certain categories where it may be impossible to do, like in a no-save branch of True 100% or in certain branches of the All Major Endings category. As stated before, you must be either using 1.001 Linux, 1.001 Mac, or 1.001 Linux with an updated runner on a Windows machine, or the PS4 version with special PS4 overflows. If you are not on either of any of those versions, the trick will not work. I hope this guide was helpful. If you have any further questions, please refer them to the Undertale Speedrunning Discord. It will be linked in the description below.